wasn't there at that Comic-Con, but I did feel that and saw that sitting on my couch at home. And man, when that screen turned black and the symbols came on, oh man, I was shaking. I was like on my feet in my living room and going nuts. Yeah, that's how excited I was to see the two greatest American superheroes going to be on screen at that time. And it was amazing. It was something I didn't think I'd live to see, right? That was one of the things like that will never happen. Like Gamera and Godzilla will never be on the screen at the same time. That'll probably not happen. But Batman, Superman did happen regardless of what you thought of the movie. The announcement itself of a potential Batman, Superman movie was exciting. Yeah, it wasn't a world's finest. They were kind of world's finest at the end of Batman, Superman. They were also kind of world's finest at the end of Justice League as well. There were moments, and I think if that universe continued, there could have been a world's finest, a true world's finest movie with Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill. But the universe started, so we're back to a new Superman and a new Batman. But that could mean that we will get a world's finest movie in our lifetime. James Gunn was asked what he would call a hypothetical Batman-Superman team-up movie. World's finest! Yes! Yes! It all depends if Superman is good, and we're going to get a taste of what it could be, the Superman movie, pretty soon, apparently. December, apparently. And hopefully we'll have the same goosebumps feeling that Frank Grillo had when he watched that trailer. Now, one of the ideas about this new universe is that it's a new universe. And every time there's a new universe, it's kind of like we're just starting all over again. We're going to have another new origin story for each of these characters. And that's one of the things that kind of tire me in a way, because I'm not getting any younger. And if we're going to have to go through over and over, and if it doesn't do well, we'll never get to the stories that Batman or Superman get involved in the comics. We'll never get to see the big screen versions of those. Well, James Gunn had a solution to that. James Gunn explains why the DCU will not focus on the origin stories for Batman and Superman. I'm not telling Batman and Superman's origin stories again, because everyone knows them. I agree. Everyone knows them. We've seen it multiple times already. We know what happens on Krypton. We know why Superman's here. We know what happens to Bruce Wayne's mom and dad. We've seen it many times. We don't need to see it again and again. So, I agree with him. That doesn't mean I don't want to see it, though. I think there are ways to show the origin story without having to go through the origin story again, if you know what I mean. Kind of like in Man of Steel, where you had hints of the origin story, except hopefully in Superman, he'll be Superman right out of the gate. He's going to have the suit and everything. We don't have to wait all the way up to that. Kind of like Superman and Lois. I actually like the Superman and Lois, the first episode of it. They kind of just go through the origin story really quick in that first, I don't know how long, it was like 5-10 minutes of the first episode. Good enough. We get it. Matt Reeves, the Batman, did a fantastic job in just getting you right into the Batman world with little bits of pieces of information of an origin story that we've heard and seen many times, because Batman Begins did a great job already about the origin story. We don't need to see that over and over. Now, obviously, that's just for Batman and Superman. Other DC characters will probably have an origin story, because not many people know about other DC characters. But right now, we're just getting a Superman movie. And I think 2026 is going to be like Green Lantern and Supergirl, I think. But before we can get a world's finest movie, we're going to need a Batman. And who's going to be Batman? Now, before I had many theories, and all debunked, that Robert Pattinson's The Batman could jump into Batman Brave and the Bold. Well, that doesn't seem to be the case. Andy Muschietti is going to be making Batman Brave and the Bold, and he's probably going to cast his own Batman. When is that going to happen? Well, James Gunn has said it's not going to be a long time from now. It's going to be a long while. Because James Gunn says DC Studios isn't rushing the Batman film. The Brave and the Bold until we have screenplay that I'm totally happy with, that movie's not going to get made. At the end of the day, if we're happy with the story that we're telling, that's what matters most. And so it's interesting because both Matt Reeves, the Batman, and Brave and the Bold are going through screenplay and writing right now. They're nowhere near shooting yet. So, and definitely they're nowhere near getting a new Batman yet for the DCU. But going back to not having to go through an origin story, I love this idea because we get to see more stories from the comics go on to the big screen and things that we haven't gotten to before. Superman versus Brainiac. Let's go. I want to see that happen. Finally. More villains from the Batman comics finally making it to the big screen or better interpretations of it. And then, of course, finally, a world's finest movie. A world's finest movie. I'm kind of glad that James Gunn is just going to push the story forward from the typical Batman and Superman origin. Let's move forward. I like that because I want to see a world's finest before I die. I'm not dying anytime. I hope not.